President Obama talking openly and surprisingly candidly about his Christian faith at the annual National Prayer Breakfast here in Washington today. The president shared that he prays regularly, and he described a humbling meeting with the Reverend Billy Graham. He also spoke about the Christian obligation to help the poor. Amid the uproar, Mitt Romney sparked by saying he's more concerned about the middle class than the very poor.
It's also about the biblical call to care for the least of these, for the poor, for those at the margins of our society. To answer the responsibility we're given in Proverbs to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Mark read a letter from Billy Graham, and it took me back to one of the great honors of my life, which was visiting Reverend Graham at his mountaintop retreat in North Carolina, and we had a wonderful conversation. And before I left, Reverend Graham started praying for me as he had prayed for so many presidents before me. And when he finished praying, I felt the urge to pray for him. I didn't really know what to say. What do you pray for when it comes to the man who's prayed for so many? But like that verse in Romans, the Holy Spirit interceded when I didn't know quite what to say. And so I prayed, briefly, but I prayed from the heart. I don't have the intellectual capacity or the lung capacity of some of my great preacher friends here to pray for a long time, but I prayed. And we ended with an embrace and a warm goodbye, and I thought about that moment all the way down the mountain. And I've thought about it in the many days since, because I thought about my own spiritual journey. Growing up in a household that wasn't particularly religious. Going through my own period of doubt and confusion. Finding Christ when I wasn't even looking for him so many years ago. Possessing so many shortcomings that have been overcome by the simple grace of God. And the fact that I would ever be on top of a mountain saying a prayer for Billy Graham, a man whose faith had changed the world and that had sustained him through triumphs and tragedies and movements and milestones, that simple fact humbled me to my core. I have fallen on my knees with great regularity since that moment, asking God for guidance, not just in my personal life and my Christian walk, but in the life of this nation and in the values that hold us together and keep us strong. I know that he will guide us. He always has, and he always will. And I pray his richest blessings on each of you in the days ahead.
President of the United States at the National Prayer Breakfast earlier today. In the last hour, Mitt Romney picked up a big-name endorsement. Why does Donald Trump think Mitt Romney is the strongest challenger to President Obama? He's standing by live. We'll discuss right here in the Situation Room when we come back.